Metroid players in the history of the game, so should be pretty fun. And here we are, starting off in Series Station, per the usual, okay? For all common sort of major full completed runs of the game, start in Series Station. There are some extension categories that allow you to skip this portion of the run, but both of our runners here will be trying to take 5 hits total from Ridley, and then have Ridley fly away, and then exit, trying to avoid a lot of different steam situations. Looks like Robitalion is slightly ahead already. You can tell because Ridley has taken off about a second before. But yeah, let's see what kind of steam patterns they get and what kind of elevator time they can come up with. All right, this is the first room where you really have to deal with steam. It's pretty much impossible to get through an entire run without hitting any kind of problems with the steam. I guess it can be done, but it's very unlikely. So they're entering the last room here. Robitalion gets a nice 45.66. Leo getting a 42.77. So Leo a few seconds behind already. Maybe about 4 seconds. Nothing major. All right, both runners now making their way to the surface of Zebes or Zebes or however you want to pronounce it. And let's let the fun begin. Now, I'm curious to see if either one of these runners will use Moonfall. My personal preference is I hope neither of them do, but I have a feeling at least one probably will. We'll be able to tell very shortly if they're going to use the trick or not. Oh, looks like Robitalion is using the Moonfall. So, and Leo is not. So I just want to go ahead and announce the winner of this race. Leo has not cheated. So Leo will be the winner of this race regardless of what times they get. Robitalion unfortunately opting to cheat by using the underflow mechanics of Moonfall. But I can understand. Being a speedrunner, you're tempted to do nefarious things to save time. Okay. You will notice that Robitalion already gained about 4 or 5 seconds on Leo from using that Moonfall. Moonfall is a relatively new, it's only about a year old, but in the grand scheme of Super Metroid, that's pretty new tech. And some runners, you know, have utilized it. Some runners have decided not to for various reasons. I personally am philosophically against it, but I understand why some people would want to use it. But Robitalion is now heading up the elevator with quite a, you know, a pretty substantial lead at this point. I know that the overall time is not that much of a difference and anything can happen, but at the same time, for the amount of time that they've been running, you know, a 10-second plus lead is pretty significant. Maybe about 9 seconds. So yeah, Robitalion now is going to be doing the traditional wall climb up the right side. Looking very clean here. And looks like Leo is also doing the same thing. So this is definitely sort of the more old school method. And both ways, you know, whether it's wall climbing or using ledge grabs, both ways can be very fast. Very impressive wall climbs by both runners here. And now Robitalion will be entering to pick up bombs. One of the most underrated items in the game. And Leo is not too far behind here. Looks like the fanfare ended around 453 for Robitalion, and for Leo, probably going to be somewhere in the 405 range, or excuse me, 505 range. Okay, unfortunately, Robitalion did not get the spread that he was looking for from the BT eggs there, but shouldn't be any problem here. He's going to finish up the fight with no issue very quick. Let's see if Leo can gain a few seconds here. Unfortunately, Leo was not able to do it either. You kind of want to spread out those drops so you can have 7 total missiles to kill BT in one round, but if you pick all of the missiles up at once, then obviously that's impossible. So both runners had about the same BT here, and Robitalion having no issue with his Alcatraz. Leo will be right behind to attempt his. That's the first kind of real speed running trick, so to speak, that a runner learns to do here. Leo up in first try. Robitalion grabbing the Terminator E-Tank. One of, at minimum, 3 E-Tanks that a runner has to pick up in 80%. And Robitalion, you can tell, will be running new route because he missiled the pirates there. You want to maintain as much health as possible in that room. You can tell Leo will be running old route, though, because he is just face tanking all the pirates for 20 damage each. Not going to have nearly as much of an impact on him, though. Since he's not going to Phantom first, he doesn't really need to maintain any kind of significant health, because by the time he gets done with Kraid and then grabs the high jump E-Tank, he should be good to go. So Robitalion on a really nice pace so far. Getting to the early supers at 645 touch. That's very nice. Okay, there's actually a lot of different options for this room Robitalion is in. Most players are going to try to farm this little cabbage guy right here. And he was able to get a nice missile drop there. And he's going to utilize the mock ball into this room. That's the more traditional kind of method. So he can fall right off that ledge, do a little down back there, and make his way down there without running into any platforms. Nice job. Leo getting a health drop there probably doesn't really matter too much. As I mentioned earlier, your health is not nearly as important in old route as it is in new route. So he probably would have preferred, in my estimation, to have received a missile drop there, but at least he got something. All right, Robitalion now with a very nice mock ball there, maintaining his run speed and falling down green hills. He's going to try to utilize a D boost here off that bug. Excellent room for him. Leo entering the same room, and Robitalion will now collect 2 supers in this room while firing 1. Those cacks drop a super missile like 99.8 or something % of the time. So notice that Robitalion is now heading up. That's how you know he's going to run new route. He's going to try to go kill Phantom first. The faster, without question, the faster route, but at the same time, way more difficult and way more dangerous to run the new than old route, just in terms of, you know, completion. So Leo, on the other hand, will be heading downward. So Leo is going to be fighting a bit of an uphill battle for the rest of this race. Not even just in terms of, like, it has nothing really to do with skill, but just the fact that if Robitalion is able to execute what he wants to do over the course of this run, he will save a good bit of time over Leo's route. That doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that Robitalion will be ahead. It depends on how each performer runs their race tonight, but Robitalion will have a route advantage. However, the cost of that route advantage is a much more dangerous, risky route, so much more likelihood of death. So we'll see what happens here. Ooh, a very nice entry by Leo there. I like Robitalion's decision right here. What you'll notice is Robitalion is collecting these drops. He dropped the power bomb to open that orange door, and then he collected the 2 drops from the crabs, which is not a traditional thing to do. Most people that run new route do not do that. because it takes an extra 2 or 3 seconds. But I like the decision in a race scenario to, have a shot at extra power bombs or extra health before heading over to Fantoon. Robitalion did not go for the CWJ, so he'll be doing a horizontal bomb jump, trying to get over the moat. This is by far one of the scariest rooms in New Route because of that right there. Leo, on the other hand, he's not going to have to deal with the moat in the same way. When he gets up to this room, he'll have speed booster, so he will use Shine Sparks to get across. And Leo doing an excellent job of denying Kraid from the prom over here, dispatching Kraid with a quick kill, collecting his various suit, and getting ready to head down to Norfair. The good news for Robitalion here is he did lose some time to the moat, but not a ton. Not a ton. He still will have a route advantage unless he gets stuck at a few other places in the run. So he's going to make his way down to Fantoon. Notice that Robitalion only has 126 health right now. That's not terrible, but at the same time, especially in a one-run scenario where you can't reset, Fantoon will do 40 damage. Both in terms of his, sprite and his flames, will do 40 damage to Samus if she does not have any suit upgrades. And since he only has the yellow power suit here, 4 hits could be death, especially if Fantoon doesn't drop any health. So let's see how he manages this fight. Ooh, a fast. Okay, he's going to try to set up a 2-round here. Unfortunately, was only able to get 5 regular missiles in. So it's going to be really hard, not impossible, but really hard to get a 2-round here. He's going to have a slow second round. And he's going to try to avoid as much damage as possible. Sometimes, though, you just kind of have to tank a hit from a flame just to get him out of the way. And luckily, he got a fast here. I don't think he actually needs the Doppler anymore, but he's going to anyway. I think he could have just straight supered Fantoon and probably killed it. But basically, any fight where you survive against Fantoon in New Route's a good fight. So luckily for him, he'll be moving on. And Leo just collected the unquestioningly the best item in the game, high jump boots. And now he's going to continue his item collection phase. This is the first time you'll see Leodox in Norfair. In Old Route, you have to do the upper Norfair section first. You collect basically high jump boots, E-tanks, some missiles, speed booster, and wave beam before you head back up to Wreck Ship. Whereas Robitalion will save some time in New Route by only visiting Norfair once. When Robitalion makes it to Norfair later, he will collect everything in upper Norfair, immediately go to lower Norfair, and then exit Norfair, never to return. Whereas Leo will actually have to come back down here to fight Ridley last in this route. Leo with a very nice bubble mountain here. Making a little jump right there to adjust that door transition. Nice play. And he's going to head down here and grab his speed booster. Robitalion now entering the second hardest part about Wreck Ship, which is the attic. Looks like he's going to utilize at least one strat where he uses regular missiles on the atoms to save a super, and excellent job. That was an absolutely fantastic attic there. And the only thing left that could be dangerous to him, really honestly, between now and making it to the high jump boot energy tank in a little while, is the bowling room. And before anybody thinks that the bowling room is not very difficult or not very scary, literally 2 runners yesterday died in this room that he's entering right here. So if you just accidentally don't get your jumps at the right time, or just jump a little too late once you're in the spikes, you can get in big trouble. But he has no issue, makes it over to the statue, and he's going to go bowling. Leo about to pick up his wave beam here. And at this point, Leo will now head back out of Norfair. He's going to start the process of heading back up to the Wreck Ship. Whereas Robitalion will now start his process of heading deep into the most southern aspect of this map. Okay, Robitalion picking up gravity on a 1439 touch. Not too bad. I would say, generally speaking, depending on the rest of his run, probably on like a 45 pace right now, which is a very good time. Leo probably hoping for at least some ammo drops. He's got plenty of health, but he's got a lot of supers, but no regular missiles. I would assume he wants to get at least a few from some of these Sovas on his way up. All right, Robitalion opting to only farm one crab there to save a little time. Very nice. Watch Robitalion right here as he comes down the elevator. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses to do. With 7 supers, these cacks should drop a super, 99.8% or whatever. So sometimes people will farm both just to go ahead and start the process of saving up for Ridley. Looks like he did as well. That's usually my choice for that room. It's a little faster to skip the farm, but at the same time, supers become so incredibly valuable in terms of the amount of time they can save as you go through the run, that getting as many supers as you can, literally from this point all the way down to Ridley, is imperative. So ammo management is important in both runs, but especially in New Route, it's even more sort of complicated and I guess has bigger implications on the speed that you run with. So he's going to pick up Spazer Beam here, which is a beam that most old route runners, especially the faster ones, will not pick up. The reason you need that... Ooh, Leodox real quick with the absolutely fantastic Red Tower strat. Excellent job, Leo. That was very fast. But Robitalion is picking up that Spazer Beam because in New Route, as most people know, you will not pick up the Plasma Beam, which is the most powerful beam in the game. So you need that extra damage for Ridley and Mother Brain fights later on. Also, the cool thing about Spazer in New Route is it allows you to run some really aggressive strats in Upper Norfair. So that's kind of one of the hidden benefits of the beam. Oh, looks like Robitalion is actually not going to run New Route tonight. I actually really approve of this decision as well. I did the exact same thing in a lot of my races. He's going to run what I refer to lovingly as the Captain Picard route. And that's because instead of going PRKD, Phantoon, Ridley, Kraid, Dragon, he's going to do Kraid second. So PKRD, Phantoon, Kraid, Ridley, Dragon. The reason I like this decision here is because Robitalion probably believes he has a bit of an advantage in terms of average runtime since he's running up against somebody that's running old route. So by doing Kraid first, he has the opportunity to pick up the various suit early in case he wants to do a lava gravity jump. And then he also can pick up the Kraid tank, which will give him way, way, way more health in Lower Norfair, making the trip way safer. Lower Norfair is by far the most dangerous part of a New Route run. He will literally be able to enter Lower Norfair with almost twice as much health as he normally would by doing Kraid second. It is a bit slower, but in a one-run scenario where you're just trying to complete the game and defeat your opponent and not necessarily running for a PB, this is a great decision. Yes, Sash, I am still in the tournament. I had a race last night and luckily was able to win. So I will be racing again next week. Okay, Leo is now going to be entering his fight with Phantoon, and notice that he will be using different strats than Robitalion did. I expect Robitalion, I expect him to pick up the C-Tank. This Ridley E-Tank, excuse me, the Kraid E-Tank is not something people normally pick up. But Leo has X-Factors that he can use since he has Wave Beam. Robitalion only had regular missiles to use, so let's see if we can get a nice 2-round here for Leo. Unfortunately, getting a slow on the first round. But a very nice X-Factor. It didn't appear to me like any of the flames were hurt. And yeah, excellent fight there by Leo. Put some PogChamps up in the chat for that. A beautiful 2-round and well executed. Double X Factor. Nice job, Leo. Okay, so here, normally Robitalion would be refilling here with the, this energy tank, but because he ran Kraid second and already refilled with the other one, he's basically just adding 100 health. The refill is irrelevant. But notice that he has 3 E-Tanks. In traditional New Route, you would only have 2 all the way from here to Ridley at minimum. So he now can play Upper Norfair, you know, way more aggressively and not have to worry about his health nearly as much. My guess is Robitalion will farm 3 of these. No, he's not going to. Okay, he's running a different strat. He doesn't farm anything in that room. He actually just ran a strat that is actually a bit faster on paper. The only downfall is, you know, he didn't farm any extra missiles or potential supers from those Sovas. So sometimes, you know, that could be technically the best choice. Other times, you know, depending on what drops you might get, just kind of depends on how risky you want to play it. So cool to see him do that. Leo over here in Attic going to utilize a Shine Spark across the room. One of my favorite strats from Old Route. Kind of one of the first swag strats that people will learn. And obviously, Robitalion did not get a chance to do that because he did not have Speed Booster when he was in Rex Ship. So Rex Ship is very, very different between the 2 routes. Apparently we have people in the chat that do not understand the meaning of literally. I assume that they are a young person. All right, let's continue. Robitalion now is going to make his way over to Speed Booster and Wave Beam. He already has his Spacer Beam, and he has his Ice Beam. Notice that Robitalion picked up Ice earlier than Leo will. That's because Ice is actually going to be beneficial to some of the strats, as well as the damage that he wants to do against Ridley. Yo, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that, man. It was a hype run for sure. I'm still, admittedly, on Cloud 9 today, so it's not very often you get your sickest run ever in a game. But Robitalion now heading up while Leo grabs his gravity suit. You'll notice that Leo has 93 health. That's not necessarily a problem, especially since he has 10 supers. If he feels as though he needs any more health, he can grab some extra health from the Cack attacks on his way down Red Tower again. Unfortunately, he bopped that door, so he's not gonna have enough momentum to jump across the moat. He's just gonna have to go down and bust the blocks out and go the bottom way. It's gonna take maybe an extra couple seconds, but not a huge time loss. Here, I would assume he's gonna farm both crabs. Yeah, he farmed both because he wanted a shot at 2 power bombs, and luckily for him, he was able to get those. So his ammo's looking in great shape. His health is not necessarily awful, but in Old Route, you usually want to have a little more health than this as you enter Meridia, just so you can use the Shine Sparks at Everest without issue and whatnot. So yeah, he's going to double farm here. I think that's a good play. He was able to pick up 40 health. Notice Robitalion here. A really cool thing about the way he's entering this room, it's going to be different when he leaves than what Leo did. Leo fell down to the bottom and then jumped up to head back up to Bubble Mountain. When Robitalion exits the wave room, instead, he is going to actually fall and then stay down and go further south to head to Lower Norfair. So this is kind of one small difference in terms of how certain rooms are executed between the 2 routes. All right, Leo breaking the glass here. You'll notice that Robitalion broke the glass earlier, even though he did not go into Meridia. That's because he wants to be able to straight jump up there when he, gets done with his Lower Norfair stuff. So Leo now heading up to everybody's favorite sea snake, Batwoon. Unfortunately, missing the jump into this room, but he was quick enough to make up for it and get up Fish Tank without much issue. So great job here. Farming a little extra health just for safety purposes. And now let's see what Robitalion does. Robitalion is setting up for the Lava Spark. Oh, I guess not. Never mind. I'll take that back. Sometimes people that are going to use a gravity jump will purposefully do the chronic boost strat. Looks like he was instead interested in farming the power bomb. So he's going to use a gravity jump here. Great method. It's the method that I use to get in as well. You'll notice his health. He took way less damage from that gravity jump than somebody in New Route traditionally would, because he already has Various Suit. So not only did he take less damage off the gravity jump, but he has an extra E-Tank. Having 354 health entering Lower Norfair in a Fantoon first run is incredibly comfy, okay? Unfortunately, Leo having an issue over here with Botwoon and actually died. That is very, very, very unfortunate. Looks like Leo has forfeited from the race. So at this point, it looks as though Robitalion has a free win, assuming he just finishes the run. So even better now that Robitalion, in terms of this context, it's even better that he took the extra safety. So now he can just kind of basically take his time and play it as safely as possible to try to get the win. I hate seeing a runner die like that, especially somebody of Leo's caliber. I mean, Leo's a great runner. But I think this just goes to show you, especially for those of you out there that like watching but don't necessarily run the game, this game is very difficult, and you can die to pretty much all kinds of different scenarios. So GG to Leo. I'm sorry you died, man, but excellent job on making the single elimination bracket of the tournament. And now we'll put emphasis on Robitalion's run here. So, not that Robitalion is going to purposefully play sloppy, but he has so much health right now that he could literally just tank shots from a lot of creatures and still survive. He's clearly not going to do that on purpose, but he should feel comfortable. You know, his supers and his health are really not in any kind of bad place at all, especially after killing these metal pirates. He's going to have, wow, full supers, which means that this guy's going to drop all health, and he is essentially going to walk into Ridley with at minimum, I guess, unless something weird happens, 9 supers, and probably at minimum like 350 health. So he is in an absolutely like dominant position in terms of comfort at the moment. All right, looks like we're going to set up for some X factors here. Let's see how many he can get on Ridley. Even if you execute perfectly, Ridley can technically, you know, give you some patterns that you don't like. So it's not always 100% possible to get 4 X factors. He was able to get 3, although at least 1 or 2 of those particles ran into Ridley's tail, but not a big deal. 3 is certainly pretty good. So now he's going to do charge shots, I would assume, until he gets Ridley into the pink. And then after that, he'll unload some supers and roughly 13 more shots. I think you need 29 total shots after Ridley turns pink. And supers count twice. Supers count basically 2 shots each. So 8 times 2 is 16. 29 minus 16 is 13. So for those of you wondering, yes, even though I teach literature and English, I do know how to do basic math. All right, this fight's going really well. He's going to unload the last of his supers here. Excellent, and I think that's going to do it. Well played. Now, Robitalion has an interesting decision here. He has, like, an insane amount of health right here, and especially considering that he's used to running New Route, you might see him pick up these drops and just leave. Yeah, he's going to go for it. I don't blame him at all, okay? Sometimes people will grab that Ridley tank. I do it a lot to get up to 3 tanks, but considering the fact that he's, you know, on such a nice, really PKRD pace, and since he has so much health, really the only way that he'll die on the way out of here is if he just really gets unlucky and also has like a colossal kind of mistake happen. But I would assume with a runner of his caliber that he will have no issue getting out of Lower Norfair alive. So this is pretty hype, man. He's on a nice pace here. Excellent. Nice speed ball through the wasteland. One of the coolest, swaggiest strats, I would say, in any run. He's going to jump over this Key Hunter. All right. He gauged that Key Hunter was not where he wanted it to be. Got a really nice pattern there from those other 2 Key Hunters. They were very kind and didn't get in the way. So that's basically 50 health that he didn't have to give up. And he didn't have to wait for them to move. So at this point, you know, there's really nothing left that can stop him from getting out of here alive, other than if he just had the absolute worst Three Musketeer remove his life, which I don't think is going to happen. So at most, I would guess he would take 100 damage here. And even that, I would guess, would be less than what he'll actually take. Yeah, there we go. Or excuse me, more than he would actually take. So he got out of there only taking 50 damage. He has 209 health. He's in excellent shape. Now, the one thing that you do need to keep in mind is because he did Kraid second, he's not going to get the opportunity to kill Mini Kraid directly after killing Kraid to go to Meridia. Mini Kraid drops 4 supers. So a lot of times after Kraid, you'll have a lot of supers and then you get 4 more. So since he does not have the number of supers that he wants to have before Meridia, he's going to stop in this room and farm bugs until he gets the number of supers that he wants. So this is one way that the Captain Picard route is slightly slower. It's not just the speed booster in the Kraid lair issue. It's also the farm. But he was able to get back to full supers pretty fast. So he's on a nice pace here. I say this jokingly because I know that there are a bazillion players on the planet that could run a faster time, but I think I actually have the world record. I use that term loosely. I have the world record for PKRD, but that's only because a lot of the fast runners have never logged a time or posted it. I believe Robitalion is on a pace that could definitely rival the time that I have in first place on that route. So this is pretty exciting. Let's see if he can keep this up. You guys could be watching a world record run right here. Ooh, he's going to go for the jump. It sounded to me like he was a little high. Yeah. So he's going to basically bail on that and then use the backup here to get up. No problem. And now he is entering, or he's about to enter Aqueduct. And then he'll head up to fight Batoon. His health is so nice right now that he basically kind of has 2 options. If he doesn't like where his health is, he can either farm bugs immediately after Batoon and just run 3 tank for the rest of the time, or he can take the instant refill from the Batoon E tank and just kind of finish with 4 tanks and run very comfortably. So let's see what he opts to do here. Rumble, I'm not sure. I don't recall Oats, Zost, or Behemoth doing Kraid second. I think most of them just grabbed extra safeties, such as the Ridley tank. Okay, if I were Robitalion, I would just straight skip this tank. He's at full health. You only need 3. And, okay, looks like he's going to play it safe. I don't blame him for that, but technically he could have just straight ran through the room. You know, to save the roughly maybe 11 to 12 seconds that it took to get that tank. But especially in this scenario where he just wants to win, you know, since the opponent already forfeited, I don't blame him for this decision at all. Just to be clear, Robitalion is definitely not on pace to PB in terms of like true PB. But I don't know what his personal best is for this particular route, so he could be on a route PB. But I think he's already too far behind to, you know, be quite as fast as his true new route PB. In fact, I'll look it up while he's about to fight Dragon here. This Dragon fight can be very hit or miss. This is the kind of fight that can go really smoothly and everything is great. It goes super fast. Or if it doesn't go well, it can completely sink your entire run. So he gets the excellent, you know, first pattern where no more swoops. Let's see if he can deliver with the last Shine Spark here. Excellent job. He has plenty of health here to do the reverse blue suit. He also has plenty of supers, but it does look like he's going to opt to go ahead and grab the drops. I don't blame him for that whatsoever. Even though it's a little slower, it could potentially save time in Torian depending on how the drops go. But I'm going to look up real quick the G4 time of my PKRD run and see if he's ahead when he gets there. All right, looks like my G4 time was a 37:17. My assumption would be that he will be maybe slightly ahead of that. He basically has 2 minutes from this point to get there. I think he will make it faster. We'll find out here shortly. Nice jump there. No issues getting out of Meridia. I do expect him to at least drop one power bomb here and maybe do one farm, even though he has plenty of supers and honestly plenty of health. Oh my god, the rare triple super drop. Of course, the rare triple super drop only happens when you're low on health, of course. But that is a new route dream right there in most scenarios. I tell you what, man, this game is the most self-aware game that I've ever played in my life. Whenever you need something, it never gives it to you. And then the one run where you don't really need it, it hands it to you on a platter. Yeah, he's definitely going to make it to G4 ahead of 37:17 unless something kind of bizarre happens. But he is legitimately on, you know, again, of recorded times on speedrun.com. He is legitimately on route world record pace. So this is quite hype. Excellent speedball there. All right, he looks like he doesn't really want to take any damage, you know, and maybe try to get some drops here. So he's going to kill those pirates. That room right there is actually, in my opinion, one of the trickiest rooms in the whole run. It's not dangerous, but that is a room you can definitely, you know, easily kind of beef. Yeah, he's way ahead. So he's about 12 seconds ahead entering G4. From the recorded fastest PKRD time. I would really like to see a lot of the really top level runners run PKRD sometime, just because, like, I'm confident Zos could run a 41 PKRD, which would be insane. But at the same time, you know, I also understand why they don't want to even waste time worrying about it, because, you know, why do it when you can compete for a world record in the actual main category? But this should be fun. Let's see if Robitalion can deliver. He is in excellent shape. Like, I can't even explain to you, 8 supers in a Fantune first, you know, Meridia last run of this nature. Having 8 supers entering Torian is just an insanely high number. You know, a lot of times people enter here with like 1 or 2 supers, so he can play hyper aggressively. And assuming that the Metroids don't just give him awful drops, he should be in really good shape here. He does need to be a little careful here. Now that he has full regular missiles, he wants to use as many supers as possible because he wants to get as much health as possible. That was a really good room. He should be able to fire 3 supers in this room. Oh, looks like he's going to group anyway. I'm a bit surprised by that, but not necessarily a bad choice. He's just being careful with his ammo. But yeah, he got a ton of drops there. That strat's a little slower than killing all 3 individually, but he's in perfect shape. So even if he doesn't get a single super drop right here, he has all the ammo he needs, and he's at full health with 4 tanks. So he's in a really commanding position here. All right, so this is the last, you know, supremely difficult trick. This is the baby skip. This is probably a 25 to 30 second, depending on how you get it or miss it, trick. He's in really good shape right now. He just needs to get a nice final jump here. And he is in there. Excellent baby skip. This will allow him to skip a refill, and he'll just be able to run straight to the right here and head over to the Mother Brain room. This room here is actually a bit awkward. It's one of the most awkward in the run, but he used a nice bounce ball and then mock ball off those little ledges. He is going to save. This is going to eat up about 10 seconds maybe. I don't blame him for this. This is basically just to solidify the win. I don't imagine anything crazy happening on Mother Brain, but if it were to happen, at least he has this backup save and he can, you know, finish the run and still win the race. And at this point, you know, the main thing he's concerned about is just making sure he gets that W. So here he's got plenty of ammo. He shouldn't have any issue, even if he gets, you know, a super, a few missiles sniped from the turrets. But yeah, he's in great shape. He has a 178 health leeway against Mother Brain. He has to have at least 301 by the end of this fight before the Rainbow Beam to survive. It's going to take 60 shots total for him to defeat Mother Brain. So let's see how he does. All right, so far he's doing great. Really, a lot of people don't realize, I don't think, the most dangerous thing about Mother Brain 2 is actually the onion rings. Those onion rings ignore iframes, or I guess maybe don't grant iframes, and you can, if you jumped at the wrong time, you can get hit by all four immediately in succession and take 80 damage, which in a 3-tank run is basically death. Or like in a low ice run. But he's in good shape here. He's in the red beam phase. The only way he can die at this point is to take a double hit from a catch-up. I don't expect him to even get hit by one anyway. So I think he's in pretty good shape. He probably only needs to dodge like maybe one more. No, he's good. He's in there. Excellent, excellent fight. So at this point, Robitalion will take a break of like maybe a minute and a half or so. Roughly minute and a half, and he'll just chill while the cutscene takes care of itself. He'll get a chance to kind of reflect on his run and think about the final escape sequence. But Robitalion will be moving forward to face the winner of the Zost versus Galen matchup, which I assume will be coming up at some point this weekend or early next week. So congrats to him. Yeah, so let me try to explain. I'll try to explain it the best I can, and I'm not necessarily trying to refute what other people are saying in chat, but PKRD is essentially a safer version of New Route. It's slower than New Route, but it's still faster than Old Route because you're able to still use probably 70 to 80% of the time save that you get from the routing. However, New Route does not actually save 2 minutes over Old Route, except for like the absolute tip-top elite players in the game. There's only maybe 3 or 4 or 5 players alive that can actually sort of realize all 2 minutes of that. So it's not quite as simple as looking at somebody's Old Route time and then adding 2 minutes to it, or subtracting 2 minutes from it, or looking at somebody's New Route time and adding 2 minutes to it. It doesn't work in a linear fashion. So, you know, for a lot of people, when they first start New Route's actually slower. So it just depends on how much time you put into it and what you learn and stuff like that. No, it's okay, Kano. I'm not adding you. I just see people throw that number around a lot, and it's not inaccurate. It's just not accurate to all, you know, all scenarios. Okay, so Robitalion now is going to make his exit here. He is on a very, very nice 45 pace here. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be, again, you know, there might be other people who have run a faster time that didn't post it on speedrun.com, but this is looking like it's probably going to be the fastest PKRD run ever, you know, recorded. or at least ever posted. I would imagine he would get out of here before 45-41. Yeah, way faster than that. So he's going to have a nice 45 here, even with safeties. This is a really excellent run by Robitalion. Well executed and never was really in any kind of jeopardy. So GG to him. Ladies and gentlemen, get hype in the chat. You are watching a world record run. Robitalion officially finishing with a race PB, no less. Not only a world record in terms of route, but a race PB of official SRL time of 45:41. Okay, 45:41 is his official race time, but it looked like that's really funny. His official race time is equal to the route record, but he really finished much earlier than that. I think he just didn't type .done on time. So Robitalion with an excellent race here, mid 45, a really fast time, really for all times in this tournament. And he will now move on and prepare for his round of 16 match. So congratulations to him and GG. And once again, you know, shout outs to Leodox. It's unfortunate that Leodox took a death there, but everybody is aware of how good of a runner he is and what a great performance he had in the tournament. So GG to Leo as well. And yeah. So guys, hope you enjoyed the race. Once again, my name is Kip. It was a pleasure doing commentary for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give Robitalion a follow and Leodox a follow as well. Two cool guys, great runners. You can learn a lot from watching them play. And at this point, I will say my goodbyes. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday night and your weekend, and look forward to more Super Metroid action as we continue to take care of races for the round of 32. So guys, see you next mission.